Hi everyone, my name is Maria Fernanda Casilimas Perea. I belong to the program Bachelors of Art in Foreign Language with emphasis on English from a course Translation Technique of the group 44. I'm going to talk about the chapter 3 and 13 of the book Introduction a la Traductología. In the chapter 3, dedicated to Werner Kohler, his significant contribution to translation studies are highlighted. The Kohler identifies translation studies as empirical science focused on analyzing, describing, and systematizing translation processes. He emphasizes the importance of establishing a clear definition of the translation, distinguishing it from other textual transformations such as summaries and adaptations. For Kohler, the defining characteristic of translation is the relationship of equivalence between the source and target text, which sets it apart from other forms of textual elaboration. Kohler also stresses the social-cultural context in which translations are received. He argues that translators must consider the expectation of the target audience, which may sometimes lead to the omission of part of the original text that conflict with the norms of the receiving cultures. This perspective underlines that translation is not merely a linguistic task, but also entails ethical and cultural decision making. Lastly, Kohler critiques traditional models of communication in translation, proposing that these often fail to capture the complexity of the translation process. He advocates for a model focusing on text equivalence relation rather than isolated words by integrating multiple theoretical approaches. Kohler positions translation studies as multidisciplinary field that can effectively study as nuances of translation as both a process and a product. In the chapter 13, Sylvia Cuellar presents Hans Werner Scopus theory, which emphasizes that the purpose of a text is the key factor in translation. This approach marks a shift from traditional views that prioritize fidelity to the source text, focusing instead on how effectively the translation achieves its intended communicative goals. Werner argues that translators must consider the context in which the translation will be received, including authorial intent and audience expectation. This functional perspective allows translators to adapt elements to the original text to enhance its effectiveness for the target audience, such as altering advertising message for local appeal. The chapter also discusses translation strategies that translators can use to align with the scopus, which may involve cultural adaptation or structural changes. This highlights translation as a creative act rather than a mere replication, encouraging a balance between respecting the source text and meeting communicative needs. Finally, while some critics warn that Scopus theory might undermine fidelity to the original text, Cuellar emphasizes Werner's call for balance. The chapter ultimately illustrates how focusing on communicate purpose can transfer our understanding and practice of translation. Thank you very much for your attention.